Don't board the train. Go home. Hide in the closet. Don't ask. You'll understand later. Her fingers were icy when they pressed my phone back into my palm. I almost laughed in her face. Instead, I froze. My name is Alina Morozova. I'm 29 years old, a financial analyst, rational to a fault. I don't believe in omens, fortune tellers, or dramatic warnings whispered by strangers at train stations. Especially not from an old woman wrapped in layered scarves, her sharp eyes cutting through me like she already knew my secrets. I had been rushing to catch the 6:40 train to visit my fiancé, Daniel. We were supposed to finalize wedding details that night. My life was predictable, structured, safe. And yet, I didn't board. I told myself it was curiosity. Maybe instinct. Maybe the way she said it. Not dramatic, not theatrical, but urgent. So instead of heading to Daniel's apartment, I went back to mine. At 7:12 p.m., I stood inside my own bedroom closet, heart pounding, feeling ridiculous among winter coats and shoe boxes. I almost stepped out. Then I heard my front door unlock, and Daniel's voice inside my apartment. I wasn't supposed to be home. Daniel had a key for emergencies. That's what he said when I gave it to him 2 years ago, back when love felt uncomplicated. Back when he used to kiss my forehead and call me his future wife, like it was a promise, not a strategy. Through the thin closet door, I heard him walk in confidently, no hesitation, no calling my name. Then another sound. High heels. A woman's soft laugh. My stomach folded in on itself. For months, things had been off. Daniel had grown distant, protective over his phone, quick to criticize the way I dressed, the way I worked late, the way I wasn't warm enough lately. He said wedding stress changes people. I believed him, because that's what I do. I calculate risk in spreadsheets, but ignore it in love. I heard them move into the living room, the familiar creak of my couch dipping under weight that wasn't mine. Glass clinking. He had brought wine. To my apartment. To another woman. I told you she'd be on that train, he said casually. Silence. Then her voice amused. You're sure she suspects nothing? He laughed. And in that moment, hiding between my coats, I realized something wasn't just wrong. It was planned. My ears rang, but I forced myself to stay still. Planned. That word echoed louder than their laughter. She's predictable, Daniel said, and I could picture the smug tilt of his mouth. She'd never question me. She thinks I'm stressed about the wedding. The woman hummed approvingly. And the apartment? I'll move in officially after the honeymoon. Once the paperwork's signed, it's practically ours. Ours. My closet felt smaller. Air thinner. Paperwork? I mentally replayed the last month. Daniel insisting we streamline assets. Him pushing for joint accounts. Convincing me to transfer my savings into a shared investment fund he managed. I'd hesitated, but he'd made it about trust. About unity. About love. She has no idea what she signed, he continued, pouring more wine. By the time she figures it out, the money's already shifted. Shifted. My entire life savings. The woman laughed softly. You're ruthless. No, he corrected. I'm efficient. My hands trembled, but my mind sharpened. I wasn't heartbroken. Not yet. I was calculating. Every document. Every password. Every access point. They were planning to marry me, drain me, then discard me. And suddenly, the old woman's warning didn't feel mystical. It felt like a narrow escape. Then Daniel said something that made my blood run cold. After tomorrow, she won't be a problem anymore. After tomorrow, she won't be a problem anymore. The words didn't sound dramatic. They sounded logistical, like rescheduling a meeting. The woman paused. You're sure about the timing? Daniel exhaled slowly. She'll be on the 6:40. I told her to take it because traffic's unpredictable tonight. There's construction near the bridge. The bridge. My throat tightened. That train line had been in the news for weeks. Delayed maintenance. Faulty signaling systems. Daniel had insisted I take it instead of driving. He'd even checked the schedule for me. You're not worried? The woman asked. He chuckled. It's not like I'm pushing her. Accidents happen. Accidents. I felt the air leave my lungs. He wasn't just planning to steal from me. He was positioning himself for something worse. A tragic fiancé. A grieving partner. Insurance policies. Sympathy. Clean hands. I remembered signing that life insurance update last month. He'd said it was responsible before marriage. My knees nearly gave out. From the living room, glasses clinked again. To new beginnings, the woman said. To freedom, Daniel replied. And inside that dark closet, surrounded by my winter coats, something inside me didn't shatter. It crystallized. They thought I was predictable. They thought I was already gone. They had no idea I was standing 10 feet away, alive, listening, and no longer in love. I didn't burst out of the closet. I didn't scream. I didn't confront them. I stood there, breathing slowly, letting the shock burn through me until it turned cold. Daniel thought I was on that train. Thought I was hours away from being a headline, or at the very least, legally cornered and financially drained. He had already moved emotionally, strategically, and probably legally. Good. That meant he was comfortable. Comfortable people make mistakes. I waited until I heard the bedroom door open. My bedroom. Their footsteps. The soft thud of my mattress shifting. I quietly unlocked my phone. Not to call the police. To record. Audio first. Then video, just a crack through the closet door. Enough to capture faces, voices, the whine, the intimacy in my space. Evidence. I sent copies to a private cloud folder Daniel didn't know existed. One he had once mocked me for keeping. You and your backups, he'd teased. Yes, me and my backups. When I heard them move toward the shower, I slipped out silently, barefoot, heart steady now. I grabbed my laptop, external drive, passport, and the folder of signed documents from my desk. By the time they realized I'd been home, I would already be rewriting everything. They thought tomorrow would erase me. They were wrong. Tomorrow would expose them. I didn't sleep that night. By 2:17 a.m., I was sitting in my car 2 blocks away, laptop glowing against the windshield, rebuilding my life line by line. First, I logged into the joint investment portal. Daniel had access. But so did I. I froze every transfer scheduled for the morning. Then I initiated a compliance review flag, anonymous tip, suspicious activity, potential financial manipulation. As a financial analyst, I knew exactly which keywords triggered automatic audits. Fraud. Coercion. Unauthorized beneficiary adjustments. Next, I emailed our lawyer. Subject line, urgent. Wedding postponed. No emotion. Just documentation attached, timestamps, recorded audio clips, copies of policy changes Daniel had pressured me into signing. At 6:35 a.m., I scheduled a meeting with the insurance provider. I requested a beneficiary freeze pending investigation. Then I did something colder. I sent Daniel a text at 6:39. Trains delayed. Thinking of coming home instead. 3 dots appeared instantly. No, stay. It's fine. I'll meet you later. Panic hides poorly. At 7:05 a.m., I uploaded the edited video, blurred for legality, clear enough for truth, to a private link and sent it to one more person. Daniel's mother. Caption: Ask your son about the 6:40 train. Then I turned my phone off and waited for the collapse. My phone exploded back to life at 9:12 a.m. 37 missed calls. 22 from Daniel. 5 from his mother. 3 from our lawyer. And 1 voicemail that I played twice. Alina, what is this? Daniel's voice wasn't calm anymore. It wasn't efficient. It was unraveling. Why did my mother just call me crying? Why is the bank freezing the account? What did you do? I didn't answer. I watched. By noon, the compliance department had formally suspended all transfers pending investigation. Daniel's access privileges were temporarily restricted. He tried logging in 7 times. I could see it in the activity log. Desperation leaves fingerprints. At 1:03 p.m., he showed up at my apartment. This time I was inside, not hiding. He pounded on the door. Alina, open it. We need to talk. Need. The same word he'd used when he needed my trust. My signature. My savings. I opened the door slowly. He looked pale. Disheveled. No smug tilt. No efficiency. You misunderstood, he started immediately. It was a joke. You know how people talk. I tilted my head. About accidents? His mouth opened. Closed. I didn't board the train, I said softly. For the first time since I'd known him, Daniel looked afraid. And I realized something. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about control. And he had just lost it. Daniel kept talking. When liars panic, they drown themselves in words. You're overreacting. You always do this, you twist things, Alina. You heard half a conversation. I heard enough, I said calmly. He stepped closer. You're ruining everything. The accounts, the wedding, my reputation. Your reputation. Not us. Not love. Just damage control. I watched him carefully. Tell me something, I said. If I had boarded that train, then something had happened, would you have cried at my funeral? He didn't answer immediately. That silence was my closure. His phone buzzed. He glanced down. I saw the color drain from his face. Compliance had escalated the review. The insurance provider had flagged the beneficiary changes as potentially coerced. Our lawyer had formally withdrawn representation pending investigation. And then he looked at me, not angry. Cornered. You sent it to my mother, he whispered. Yes. She thinks I tried to. You did. The truth sat between us, heavy and irreversible. He left without slamming the door. Without another threat. Without dignity. 2 days later, I learned something else. The 6:40 train never crashed. But it was delayed for hours due to a signaling malfunction near the bridge. An accident waiting to happen. I don't know who that old woman was. I never saw her again. But sometimes, when I stand at that station, I wonder, was she warning me about the train? Or about the man I almost married? Either way, I listened.